So welcome. The idea for the session for today is that I will explain how you can install CloudBot or now Molbot or now OpenClaw, and you can install directly in your computer, but I really don't recommend to do that if you have personal data or you have any kind of business data right there. Why? Because that kind of process will be give the permissions, will be grant the permissions to allow CloudBot to use any kind of resource in your computer. So the idea is that you only need to install CloudBot in a secure and isolated environment. Okay, so according with that, you need to understand that, and we can go ahead with the video. Okay, so the first step is that we need to use a local LLM. Why? Because we don't want to use an API. Why do we don't want to use an API? Because right now the idea is that we don't want to pay for use CloudBot. So the idea is we will use LLM locally installed in our computer. Okay, we will use the RAM resources, the GPU resources, and the CPU resources. Okay, so please don't install in your personal computer. So the first step is we will go to LN Studio. There is a platform that can allow you to install and deploy locally multiple LLM environments. So the LLMs will be help to you in your personal computer, will be running your personal computer. So it's a great option if you want to test locally. Okay, so at first we will install, that's the first process. You can select any kind of LLM available. We have many options in LLM Studio, so you can have like for example Qwen, you can have Llama. So we will turn on the developer mode, and after that we will select the model to load. So the idea is that we will identify which LLM options version we have. So directly I recommend Qwen, because Qwen with the like 7 millions of words, it will be good, of variables, it will be good for our test. I recommend the 2.5 version. Okay, so you will see here that we have this version, and this version is only 6 gigabytes. So with these 6 gigabytes, you can download it, and it's very good, it's very nice for our test and install CloudBot. So remember, at first we will install the LLM that CloudBot will use to communicate with you, and after that we will install CloudBot. Okay, so we will take a while. Okay, the download is completed. That's very cool. And now, after it's completed, the idea is that we can validate how we need to integrate the LLM with the CloudBot. Okay, so at first we see that it's loading. We need to wait a little bit more. Okay, it's important right now to understand that CloudBot use a very large context. Okay, so we need to have an environment that is sufficient and enough to support that. Okay, so right now we will install CloudBot, Molbot, or OpenClaw. What else it say right now? Every day is changing, so we will go directly to Molbot AI.ai, and we will test here. Yeah, and we validate. Yeah, this is the web page. Yeah, for GitHub, and there is some kind of options. You can subscribe using OAuth authentication. There is a security authentication model, but remember, we will install a LLM locally to use CloudBot, so you don't need to have any kind of subscription. Okay, so the next step is, okay, we are in a Windows environment, so how we can integrate that Windows environment with CloudBot. So the idea is we can run a WLS. What is a WLS? And WLS is like a wrapper that can help to us to bring a Linux operating system into our Windows operating system. So it's a great. So the only requirements is that we need to have Windows 10 version since 2024, and we need to only give the command WSL space minus minus install. So with that, we are in a great mode, because right now the process is installing, and it's a great adventure. The adventure of have your personal assistant, AI assistant. So it's pretty nice. So remember, we are using our Windows computer, Windows operating system. We are trying to give another layer, there is a wrapper of the another operating system, there is Oracle Linux, okay? And that software, the name of that software that can support this operation is WLS, okay? WSL, okay? So with that, we will install directly, and okay, at first, we only select the installation on WSL, but now we need to identify which distributions of Linux are available right here. So the idea is that we will identify which version we have. So we will check here. I'm just trying to give directly the installation, but no. What is the idea? The idea is that we need to select which versions of the operating system, of the versions of Linux operating system are available, okay? So we need to wait a little bit more, and we need to check here, yeah, right there. We need to identify here which versions, yeah, and here we need to select specifically the version that we have. And you can tell me, okay, I can install Ubuntu, I can install Kali Linux, I can install Debian, Gentoo. Yes, you can do it, you can do it. But, okay, this is the command, wsl.exe, execution, and this is the name, okay? We have Ubuntu, we have OpenSUSE, SUSE, Almond Linux, Debian, and everyone. We will select Oracle Linux, but you can use any kind of operating system as a wrapper. Remember, we have at first our Windows operating system. We are installing a layer, there is a Linux layer, and in that Linux layer we will install with the OpenClaw. Why we are doing that? For secure purpose, okay? We are trying to use that in a secure and isolated mode, okay? Because we are installing also locally the LLM, okay? So we will try to validate here. We are checking what are the features that we have. This is the basic commands, yeah. And let me check something here. Yeah, this is how we can start to use the WSL. Remember, WSL is the Linux layer bring into our Windows operating system, okay? So right now we're trying to bring up this Linux operating system, but the idea is that we need to install our Oracle Linux distribution. So I'm just trying to validate the process. So I will execute WSL, the command, minus install, and we will select Oracle Linux. Which version? 9.5 version, okay? So it's going on. Just wait a little bit more. Okay. It will take a while, but it will depend about the internet bandwidth that you have. Okay, that's great. The installation process is taking a while also. Yeah, finally, yeah. So we can give a name. We can put any name. Remember, this is another operating system inside your Windows. So we can test any kind of things that we have and we want. So it's very interesting to do some kind of laboratories or something like that. It's pretty cool. We give a password, of course, and that username and password will be the root user for your connection. Okay, remember, it's important to understand that this is the information that you need to be placing self. Okay, so the installation is successful. Okay, now we have our operating system ready. Okay, so with that, what is the next step? Well, the next step is we already have our isolated operating system. So the next step is that we will install the OpenClaw, okay? That is our AI assistance, okay? So I am checking right now the folder location, and we're trying to install directly, okay? So I put here the command, and the process is running right now. So what is doing right now is doing all the process, is validating all the things, and the most interesting thing is that we can check in real time what is happening and what kind of things they are doing. Okay, what is the components that OpenClaw needs? Well, OpenClaw will need Node.js software, and also they will need npm, okay, to download all the repositories, to download everything that they will need. Okay, so OpenClaw is already installed successfully, so everything is completed. So now, what is the idea? The idea is that we will check that the system is working, and we need to configure it. And we have many kinds to configure it, but for this process, I only want to go ahead with the basic installation and the integration with Telegram and with the LLM that we already have internally, okay? So now I just need to fix something, okay, because it's not working too good. So I need to copy the local variables. So this is doing right now, and right now we are go ahead with the installation. Okay, so this is the process of installation. We already have our model. Okay, we have the model internally, so we can skip that model authentication provider. Okay, so we can select anyone because we will change later. Okay, so we have many, but these options is because you want to subscribe and you want to give the authentication keys, and I am not recommend that. Okay, so it's important to understand that. So here I will check what is the process, okay, to run the OpenClaw locally. Okay, so the idea is we need to integrate OpenClaw with our LLM, but to do that we need to understand which kind of configuration we will need. Okay, so first step is we can select any kind of model authentication provider. Don't worry about that. Okay, so I skip for now, and or you can select Qwen. Okay, it don't care about that. And the most important things right here is to identify where we need to change the information of the LLM model, because it's important to change it, okay, in that file, because OpenClaw needs to identify which model of LLM we can select. Okay, so we have all the models for example, for Amazon, we have for Anthropic, for OpenAI, for Gitful. All of them are the providers. Okay, So the idea is we are having a very good advantage in that moment, in this moment, because we are trying to don't use any kind of subscription. So we are trying to avoid any kind of risk that the data could be like supervised or can be inspected by any kind of attack, like a man in the middle or something like that. So we are trying to understand what kind of actions these OpenClaw can do in our computer. So the idea is, okay, we will install OpenClaw locally, we will install the LLM locally. So we are do all the things locally, and the only process to give to the internet is the process to communicate OpenClaw with Telegram, okay, and of course WhatsApp, because you can select the ways of communicate OpenClaw with WhatsApp, Telegram, any kind of channel or any kind of chat or social media that are available right there. So here we are trying to select the channel, okay, right now. So remember, we can have Telegram, WhatsApp, Discord, Google Chat, Slack, Signal, but now we only will select WhatsApp and Telegram, okay? If you select WhatsApp, they will be sent to you and will be present to you a QR, okay? And with that QR, you can like a link your WhatsApp number with your Clawbot account, okay? I really recommend that you use another number, okay, with another WhatsApp. Why? Because with that you can perform any kind of operation with any kind of risk, okay? So we are seeing right here a QR, okay? With that QR, you only need to scan that QR with your cell phone. Please remember, another WhatsApp number. I really don't recommend to use your personal number for WhatsApp. So you only need to scan this WhatsApp QR, and with that, the process to specify the linking connection between your personal WhatsApp and your OpenClaw will be successful. And okay, the question is how I can communicate with OpenClaw. So you need to search in your WhatsApp your name, okay? And after you put your name in your WhatsApp search bar, you will see chat, okay? You need to click that in there and you can start to chat like in your self chat, but it will be sent all the information to OpenClaw, okay? So that's the idea. So we will see here all the information. Yeah, this is what WhatsApp DM access. WhatsApp direct chats are gated by channels WhatsApp. Yeah, so we'll see here. Here we have the options to pairing or allow list or open public inbound DMs or any kind of options that you want to have. So remember, the idea is that you can pairing linking your WhatsApp, but not your personal WhatsApp, because it will be dangerous. You are trying to do all the things locally, so the only ways to communicate right now is using Telegram or using WhatsApp. Is the basic and best way to communicate, but please doing in not personal WhatsApp number. So here I will select pairing, and here we have two options for WhatsApp allow from. So with that, we can check, and also right now we can configure the skills. What are the skills? The skills are the components that can help OpenClaw to give more capacity to do things. We have, for example, to identify things, to do something with your computer, to list your folders, to take photos, to create images, or to do anything that you want. We have many kind of skills, I don't select anyone because I just want to give you the opportunity to test OpenClaw without any kind of skills. And the most interesting thing is that you can do it later, okay? So here we are installing the gateway, okay? And the idea is that we will start to validate all the things. We will start to create the portal, and now we are serving, okay? So we can have here the serving option, okay? Now it's running, okay? And now we need to wait a little bit more. Yeah, we are seeing the port, that the port is open. Okay. We are seeing right here. This is the information, yeah. We are waiting a little bit more. And now we need to check here. Okay, now it's perfect. Why? Because we are seeing that the OpenClaw is running. The channel is on, the state is okay, and the session right now is good to start to work. So with that, we are great, in a great mode. So it's a very good news for us. So what is the idea? The idea is with that, we can go ahead, okay, and we start to validate the status, okay? We see that the WhatsApp gateway is running. We see that the OpenClaw is running also. And we see, important, we see what is the model context, okay? And we see that he's trying to use GPT model, okay? So what is the next step? Remember, we don't want to use any kind of subscription, any kind of key for connection of a remote LLM. We want to use our local LLM, okay? So with that, we check where is the commands that are available, okay? And we click OpenClaw model status, okay? So with that, we see, okay, the default is GitHub Copilot GPT-5. And we see the most important things right here. There is the agent directory and the configuration file, okay? So with that configuration file, we can modify the location of the model, and modify the location of the model, we can change it. But what we need to do right now, remember, we already installed the LM Studio. We can serve that our model to our local network. How we can do that? Okay, we only need to start our LLM model, that is Qwen, and we will go right here. Let me check something. Yeah, we will go here. We will click right there. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Okay. Okay, eject the model from memory. Now we want to bring our Qwen model to our network, okay? So we need to wait a little bit more. We are trying to identify what is the next steps. Okay, so we click in right there, and we can see what is the information. Okay, we see that we have the format, we have the file, and we have the server settings, okay? So we will serve in a local network, okay? The port that we will use is 1234, is the default port. We can use that, or we can use another one. And look, what is the important things right here? To click right there. So we will allow that LM Studio can use all the public networks. And we can see right now the IP. With this IP, we can directly access to our model, okay, as a server, okay? So right now, we have our model bringing as a service. Okay, and that's great because we want to use OpenClaw with our local model. So OpenClaw right now is executing, our model is executing, but we need to have a proxy. What is the proxy? The proxy is we need to publish our local model. There is a service running in our server, but we need to publish to the internet because OpenClaw need to identify what it is. Okay, so here I remember that I am telling you that we need to increase the context and offload. Okay, so we are saying that we will increase to have a very good and very fast response, and we restart the server. Okay, remember you need to have for this kind of test and this kind of process a GPU at least of 4 gigabits for GPU, and at least for memory RAM I really recommend 24 gigabits. Okay, or you can use like a 16, but it's good. So we will configure the threshold, we will configure the CPU pool size. It's highly recommended to put like an in 9 or in 8 because you need to have a fast response. You want that your bot responds very quickly. So that's the idea. So now we need to test. How we can test? Okay, we can test right now our server. Okay, and we can use this directioning, this URL with that information of the API. What we are doing this, we are trying to identify the API, and the API is responding good, so we can confirm that our LLM is running as a server, like a service. Okay, so the other step, there is the proxy step, is we need to have a proxy to publish our model to the internet. Why? Because OpenClaw need to access to that. So how we can do that? We will install Cloudflare. So Cloudflare is a very good component, a very good service to help to us to provide like a service to publish our service to the internet. Okay, so right now we are installing Cloudflare. Okay, so it's taking a while. Yeah, so right now we are now executing, and now that is installed, we need to run. What we need to do right now, that we can do right now, is we are providing our port and IP to the internet. Okay, so we are doing that because we want to publish our LLM service to a public name with a domain name to the internet. Because OpenClaw, we will go to that domain to get all the information and start to talk with the LLM. Okay, so here the process to install that. So we will check here. We will try to identify what is the command. Yeah, we're trying to identify which is the command in real time. So what we are doing right here, we are creating a tunnel, okay, with our local service, with our port that is running the LLM to the internet. So right now we are testing and it's good. Now the service is completed, and see, we have our domain already released. Connection, ringtone, signal, resort, try cloudflare.com. Completed free. So there is no cost for that. Completely free, and it's amazing because right now we have our proxy installed and running. So how we can test it? So the other thing that we need to do is, okay, our LLM is running locally, but it's exposed to the internet using that domain, okay? And with that domain, we can now modify the basic configuration of OpenClaw to bring that LLM, and we can validate everything. So what we can do right now, we will test the URL that Cloudflare give to us. So we can validate again. So we will put here. Oh, I check that I have a double slash. I remove that. Yeah, and good. Now we have our service providing the internet access. Okay, it's a very nice phase for this project. So right now the next step is, okay, we need to modify the files. Okay, so we will modify the files. And how we can do that? So I create this passive bin, okay? There is a public service to publish notes, and we need to copy that part of the JSON, okay? This is a JSON file, and we need to copy that, okay? Why? Because in our CloudBot that is already installed, we need to modify a file configuration server, okay? What is that file configuration server? Is the configuration file that have everything related to how OpenClaw will be connected to the LLM, and how OpenClaw will be connected to the channels like Telegram, like WhatsApp, okay? So remember, this service is completely free, so we don't need any kind of new things. So we are replacing right here, okay, the base URL, okay. We are changing some other things relating to the models, relating to the information for the ID, okay. Remember that we install Qwen, okay, so we need to keep the same format, the same context, okay. So right now it's installed. Yeah, so right now it's configured in the file. And we can give the context windows to be more. Remember, we need to have more context because OpenClaw will be used a lot of context, okay? Okay, here we need to change. We are changing right now. Yeah, we can put the same. Very cool. Okay, now we are copying and we need to modify that file. How we can modify the file? Well, we will use an open source component that is already installed in all the Linux distribution. There is B, okay? So this is the location of the file, and we will replace, yeah, we will replace that. Okay. So we are doing the changes. Yeah, we are modifying. We need to be very quiet and very sure that what are the changes that we are doing, because if we don't change in a very good mode, we can do like a fatality error. So we need to be very specific and be very slow in the process to change everything in that JSON. Remember that JSON file is the file that OpenClaw will use, okay, to configure everything. Okay, we can validate here. Yeah. And now we already changed it. So here, okay, I take a mistake. It's not ClawBot, it's OpenClaw. Yeah. And we can bring up the service. How? Using OpenClaw Gateway. Wow, something happened. So we see that we commit an error. Okay, we can check it. Yeah. Okay, let's check it. Okay, so we identify that we have some kind of issues. But what is the issue? The issue here is related to a word that is put in incorrectly. Okay, we can check it. Yeah, right now, providers, maybe providers is the issue. We can check it. So we see, okay, yeah, that's the issue. So we see that we have this kind of information. So we can remove that and we can add. Yeah, the syntax is incorrect. We need to fix that syntax. Yeah. Okay. We can specify everything. Now we need to change again. Okay. Yeah. We can validate it right now. Yeah, so right here we identify the error. Now we need to fix that error because the syntax is incorrect. Yeah. So right here we identify what is the correct syntax. We can check. Okay, so the idea is trying to validate. Okay, we can validate here to check what is happening right now. Okay, we see that this primary, so we need to check here. Yeah, that primary, we need to move it. Okay. So now we identify finally the error. Yeah, that is not needed. That model. We add the correct syntax. Yeah. Okay. Now we are testing again, trying to run in and bring up our OpenClaw. And it says get with file to start. It says get with already running PID. Okay, so we can stop the OpenClaw instance. Yeah, we can stop it. And right now we all do it again. Let's validate it. Okay, so right now is working. So we can see that our OpenClaw is working right now, finally. So right now we can see that we already integrate with our service, and we can integrate with everything that related to the chatbot for the Telegram. So hopefully this is the session. I hope that everything runs well. If you have any comments or any question, remember that you can comment here. Okay, thank you.